As we know, the first Mashiach was Moshe Rabbeinu. He was the one that Hashem sent to Egypt to deliver the Jews. And as the Torah mentioned many times, V'yid'u ha'Mitzrayim ki ani Hashem. All the miracles that Hashem did in Egypt, only for one reason, one purpose, that they will know that there is Hashem. My friend, in this parasha, there is something incredible that I would like to explain you. First, Hashem, he said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, now the Jews are ready to go out from Egypt. Everything is ready now. Now, all what I need now is to make 100% sure that the Jewish people, they will follow me. How? Because all the bad Jews, they die the night of the darkness. All those that didn't want to go out from Egypt, they pass away. Now it remained only the tzaddikim, only Jews that really they want to leave Egypt to go to receive the Torah and then to go to Eretz Israel. But Hashem, he said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, I must tell you something. After 400 years that the Jewish people, they were in Egypt, slaves to Pharaoh, slaves to Egyptians, slaves for their own. I mean, the Jewish people, in their mind, they couldn't think any 1 minute of freedom. It was impossible for them even to think one day there will be freedom. You know, when you buy a lotto, there is a chance maybe you win. There's a chance maybe you win something, maybe a few $1,000s, maybe millions, maybe a few hundreds, maybe something. But the Jewish people in Egypt, they did not have a chance even to think one day they can be free from Egypt. Why? Because for them, Pharaoh was like God. Pharaoh, he was a big. He used a lot of black magic, so it was the boss of the boss. It was the big boss of the black magic. As we saw in the Torah, that he was fighting Moshe Rabbeinu. He was fighting Moshe Rabbeinu. So after the 9th plague, Pharaoh was nearly knocked out. Now we are waiting for the last one. The last one is all the firstborn, they're gonna die. But there was something that bothered Hashem, the God of the Egyptian. You know, the Egyptian, they never eat meat. Why? Because for them, the animals are like God for them. I saw a beautiful explanation. How come that you have to be crazy to think that the Nilus is God, that a sheep is God. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, okay, if you say that Pharaoh is God, okay, but to say that a sheep, a cow is God, I mean, the cow don't talk. I mean, it's impossible to think about that. And how can you imagine in 1 minute that the river, it's God? I mean, it's ridiculous. So how can the Egyptian, they believe on these silly things that the river is God, the sheep is God? I mean, they're crazy. I mean, but the Jewish people, because they saw that all the strength that Pharaoh had, it came because he declared, I am God, and next to me is the sheep, is God as well. and my left, my hand, and my right hand is the sheep, they are God, and my left hand, it's the sea, is the river, is God. So the Jewish people, they believe it, they saw. But the question is, how can you believe? How Pharaoh made Jewish people to believe that the sheep is God, that the river is God? And I saw a beautiful explanation from some rabbis who said that Pharaoh, he told the Jewish people, look, the sheep is God. Why? Because if there was no sheep, we cannot work the land. If the land give us vegetables, before, to work the land, you used to take 2 animals. And you see, and with the animals, there is wool, there is leather, there is meat. So that's good. This is good because the sheep can provide you clothes. The sheep can provide you when you work the land. So they can provide you vegetables, trees. So this is God, and the river is God as well. Why? Because it provides you something. Why you have to believe in God? That God give you, God. No, the river give you. You see the river. At least the river you see, she give you fish, she give you water. So the river is God. So the one who help you, he is God. But you believe in Hashem, and Hashem is Hashem. Can you understand? This is a way how Pharaoh foolish the people. He told them, what you see, you believe. What you don't see, you don't believe. Do you see God? You don't. You know. So why you believe in God? But you see what the river give you. The river give you water. The river give you fish. The river give you all what you need. Give you, with the water of the river, all the lands. You fill the lands of water, and with that water you have the vegetation. The vegetation is growing. The bread is growing. So you see, the land. So the river, it's God. My friend, all those ideas, they were in the mind of the Jewish people. It was not easy that all this, you can bring out all this from the mind of the Jewish people. That's why Hashem, he punished the Egyptian with dam, with blood. You say that the river is God because it provides you water. Look now, your God, the river, it's blood. You compare the fish as God, the fish is died. And of course, you compare the sheep, all the animals as God. So during all the plague that Hashem give to Egyptian, most of the animals were killed. They were killed with the storm, with the deber, with the magefa, with COVID, a virus, and a lot of Hashem showed the Egyptian that the God it's nothing. No, let's come to the Barad. When Hashem, before he sent the storm into Egypt, he told them, look, I'm going to send you a big storm. Don't let your animals outside. Because if you leave your animals outside, the storm, and the rain, they will kill it. So the only way to save it, bring your animals to the house. So the question is, why in the house? Why not, in the farm? Why in the house? Hashem said in the house. That means each Egyptian, if he has 10 cows, so the 10 cows he has to bring them into his house. Otherwise, they will die outside. I was thinking, why that? Why Hashem said bring them to the house? This is my first question. My second question, it's before the Jewish people left Egypt, Hashem said to Moshe, tell the Jews before they leave Egypt to take a ship, take a ship and to bring it to the house. And during 4 days, you have to attach it on the corner on the feet of the of the table or of the bed, to attach it. I did not understand this. I did not understand. I was thinking a lot. Why Hashem he want me, David Pinto, to bring a ship into my house and to attach his feet into my bed? Why? Why this? What it is the message? What it is the message? I did not understand why. Of course, there is a reason. And then Hashem said, 4 days later, you will do the shechita of the sheep. It's Korban Pesach. And then you have to grill it. You have to grill it. So there is a lot of smoke in all Egypt, and all this to show the Egyptian that you see your God is nothing. You believe in the sheep. This is your God. Look what we are doing to your dog, to your God. I did not understand why David Pinto, Hashem wanted to take the sheep to your house 4 days before the exit of Egypt, and then you will kill it. You do shechita, and then you grill it. Not cook it. No, you're not allowed to cook it. You have to bring a big, can you imagine, if there were few millions of sheep that they grill it, you imagine all over Egypt, the smoke of the God of the Egyptian, and the Egyptian couldn't do nothing. But my question is, why Hashem said to the Egyptian, if you don't want to be hurt from the storm, take your sheep into your house. Then, before the exit of Egypt, Hashem said to the Jews, you as well take a sheep into your house, and after 4 days you kill it. Why to bring the sheep into my house? Why? This is, my friend, my question. My friend, I have to tell you something incredible. As I told you before, the Jewish people, they believed so much, like all the Egyptians, that Pharaoh was strong. That Pharaoh was after all the play that Hashem gave him, they started to believe on him less. But still inside them, maybe there is something in the God of Egypt, the sheep. Just Pepe, I want to tell you something. Just imagine you have a beautiful house and you have 100 sheep. 100. Imagine if they come to your house. What a mess will be your house. Just imagine. I like to imagine. I like to imagine that I was in Egypt. Imagine I am Egyptian, Hasbi Shalom, and I fear God because I know with God we don't joke. And Moshe Rabbeinu, he said, all the Egyptians, if you have any sheep, don't leave it in the field. Bring it to your house, not in the farm, to your house. That means all the families gonna be together. The sheep, the animals, the horses. If you have any gazelle, if you have any, toreros, all this to my house. Ribono shel olam. Can you imagine how smelling? They're gonna make my house dirty, and I have to bring them food. I mean, my house gonna be catastrophic. Why all this? Hashem, He wants that the Egyptians to open their eyes. This is your God. Why it's smelly? Why it smells? Wow, 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 wow. It's gonna open the doors, and it's very hot. And April, it's very hot in Egypt. Can you imagine? Very, very hot. Before the Jews left Egypt, it was very, very hot. Can you imagine, my friend? Can you imagine? It was unvivable. You couldn't live with it. And Hashem did that so that the Egyptians will realize this is our God. This is our God. That's what Pharaoh made that to believe, that the sheep is God, because you can use the sheep to eat, to work the land with, and to take leather from him to make shoes, and to take from the sheep wool to make jumpers, clothes. But at that moment, they didn't think about that. You know what they did, the Egyptians? They couldn't live with this. So they let them out. But at least when they let them out, because they couldn't live, it was too smelly. Too smelly, it's impossible to believe. But they got a lesson that it couldn't be a God. It's impossible. My friend, that was a lesson that Hashem gave to the Egyptian. This is your God. Look what you did to him. You threw him out. So how come you believe in him? Now, the Jewish people as well, Hashem did that the same to them. If there is any Jew that still believe that there is on the sheep something of goodness, something of God, Hashem Shalom. So in those 4 days that he keep the sheep in his house, before he will do the shechita to sacrifice it for Korban Pesach, he couldn't smell. He couldn't live during 4 days with the smell of the sheep. Wow! And in his mind, wow, what's this? How crazy we were to believe that this is God. It's impossible. It's impossible. So now, that was the last lesson that Hashem gave to the Jews. That so once they will leave Egypt, they will not believe anymore that the sheep is God, that the river is God. And of course, at this moment, at this time, the Egyptians used to believe that the firstborn are God, because they were the firstborn. They thought the firstborn was Avodah Zarah. So Hashem killed all the Egyptian firstborn to let them know there is no Avodah Zarah. My friend, I have to tell you something. The kingdom of Pharaoh was based on the Tum'ah. The Klippa, the Tum'ah. Pharaoh thought only through the Tum'ah, because Pharaoh knew that the Bnei Israel are holy. They are the son of Abraham, the late sons of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. And since they've been in Egypt, the only way that they can keep them forever and use them as slaves, if they believe on what he believed. So the kingdom of Pharaoh was the Nahash, the snake. As you know, the Nahash he was the one who pushed Adam Arishon and Chava to do the Avera. The Nahash, he came, according to the Zohar, according to the Kabbalah, that Nahash, he came and he became the Gilgul of Pharaoh. It's incredible. He became the Gilgul of Pharaoh. The Nahash, he knows that the Jewish people, they will come to Egypt to repair the Kiddusha that Adam Arishoni lost, and the Tum'ah bring it to Egypt, and they buried it in Egypt. And the Nahash knows that once the Jewish people will repair those holy utensils, holy nitzutzot shel Kedusha, so they will repair all the sin of Adam Rishon, and then Mashiach can come. The first Mashiach was Moshe Rabbeinu. If the Jews will not do the Egel, the golden calf, Mashiach will come, and the kingdom of Hashem will be well established. The Jewish people, they start to repair in Egypt all the sin of Adam Rishon, and they succeed. There's a big success through their sufferance, through all what they did. They did it. They repaired it. But the Nahash was there. The Nahash is the Satan. If you do a calculation of Nahash, it's the same letter of Satan, Ima Kolel. So the Nahash came to stop it, that the Jewish people will not live, will not repair. That was the reason. That Pharaoh, that his kingdom was based on the klipa, on the tum'ah, the impurity. So he did everything he can that the Jewish people will not repair the utensil of holiness, the holy utensil that fell from Adam Rishon, so that always will remain the word, the kingdom of Pharaoh, the kingdom of the snake. That was the symbol of Pharaoh is the snake. Now you understand why Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, the first sign that you give to Pharaoh, take your stick, take your baston, the stick, throw it, it will become Nahash, it will become a snake. And Pharaoh will understand that we are here to fight the Nahash. We are here to fight the snake, which is the Satan, which is the Pharaoh himself. And we came here to overthrow the kingdom of Pharaoh. At the beginning, when Moshe Rabbeinu took the stick and he threw it, it became a Nahash, Pharaoh was laughing. All his bodyguards, all his close friends, all of them, they took the stick and they threw it. They wanted to tell Moshe Rabbeinu, you want to make us frightened from that snake. Look how many snakes we have. There is not only one Satan, we have a lot of Satan. You are one against all of us. But what happened? Moshe Rabbeinu took the snake, and it became baston, and then that baston, so what the Egyptian did, as well, they took their snake, and it became baston. But the baston of Moshe Rabbeinu he swallowed all the basin of it. Now they understood that they have business with somebody that is very, very dangerous for the kingdom of Egypt. Now they understand. And there the war started. So you see from here that Pharaoh, he prepared himself already, because Pharaoh knows that somebody is going to come to overthrow him. He knows that somebody is going to come to fight him. So he said, I'm going to make the fight heavy, difficult, so the Jewish people will never live here. So he made them believe on the river, that the river is God. He made them believe that the sheep is God. So once they have this in their mind, they can never believe in God, in Hashem himself. But Hashem is very clever. What he did Hashem? He hit the river. The river become water. From water it become blood. That was a terrible hate for Pharaoh. That was incredible. That was everywhere was no water, only blood, and the blood become filthy. You can, bad smell. After 1 week, you couldn't smell it. That was first of all, Hashem wanted to show the Jews. Look, Pharaoh made you do a big mistake. He made you believe that the river is God. Look, no one has water. And the Jewish people, they become very rich because they used to drink, to sell water to the Egyptians. And they made a lot of money. And then Hashem wanted to show the Jews, now that you see that the river is not God anymore, now I'm going to show you the sheep that Pharaoh made you believe that the sheep is God. I'm going to show you what it is, the sheep. Can you imagine to live with this sheep 1 week? It's impossible. It's impossible. So they started to throw the sheep from them, from their house. They started to stop believing. Now those are the Egyptians. That's what Hashem made to the Jewish people. That's the way Hashem said, I like the way I'm hating Pharaoh. And Baruch Hashem, after, I want to tell you what Arizal HaKadosh said. Arizal HaKadosh said, Halachma anya de'achalo avhatana ve'ar'a de Mitzrayim. Arizal HaKadosh explained, Halachma anya, this is the bread that our parents, this is the poor bread that our poor parents eat it in Egypt. What that mean? What that mean? This is the poor bread that our parents eat it in Egypt. Arizal HaKadosh explained, the Jewish people, they went to Egypt to repair the nitzutzot of Kedusha, the utensil, some lights of holiness that fade from Adam HaRishon. And the Klippat took it to Egypt. When Adam HaRishon, he ate from the tree that Hashem told him not to eat. So that was spectacular. Now, who can repair them? Who can go to Egypt to repair them? That's why Hashem did that. Yosef HaTzadik was sold by his brothers and he became the king of Egypt. And then Yaakov and his children came to Egypt and they become there few hundred thousand people become there. Then they have nowhere to go. So they remained there. And then they started to be slaves, and there they started to repair. Those utensils that they were poor, they were holy, and they become poor because they were hidden in the land of Egypt. You understand? So the Israel they repair it. Al-Ahma'anya, those our parents, poor people, they went to Egypt to repair those poor holy lights that fell from Adam Arishon. They become poor. Now that they repair them, so now we can go out from Egypt. You know, my friend, that was the kingdom of Pharaoh. The kingdom of Pharaoh was based on that. On Klippa, on Tum'ah. So it was a fight between Hashem and Pharaoh. Like the parasha of this week, the Torah said, Boel Pharaoh. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, let's go to see Pharaoh. And Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid. He said, Hashem, I'm afraid. I can't go to see him anymore. He's a Rasha. This Pharaoh is a Rasha. I can't. And besides this, he is the Gilgul of the Nachash. He's the Gilgul of the snake. I mean, how can I beat him? Look, Hashem, what I did to him. I took the snake. I took the baston, the stick, I threw it. He became a snake. He was not afraid. Because he represents the snake himself, the Nachash himself. And the Nachash protect him. So Hashem told him, the Zohar Kadosh said, Moshe, come with me. I'm going to take you where the Satan, where the Nachash is hidden. He's hidden up there. And from up there, he's fighting Moshe Rabbeinu. You and me, we come together. Moshe Rabbeinu said, I can't, I'm afraid, I cannot see the Satan himself. Hashem said, you come with me. Boel Pharaoh, come with me. We're gonna go to see the Satan. When Hashem and Moshe Rabbeinu approached the place up there where the Satan is hidden, the Satan ran away from there. So Hashem said, stop. From now, you're not allowed anymore to come here. So the Satan remained down there. Here. He was not allowed anymore to approach up there. That was the beginning of the fight, the end of the fight between Hashem and Pharaoh. And I would like to finish with something very, very nice. You know, the parasha of this week, if you, when Moshe Rabbeinu, he went to see Pharaoh and to tell him, send the Jews. I'm going to show you here in Parashat Shemot. I think it's Parashat Shemot, Parashat Bo. So Parashat Bo, yes. Before the Hashem said to Moshe, now that I throw the Satan from up there, he has no koach anymore to fight you. Now don't worry. Now go to Pharaoh, tell him, send the Jews. Otherwise, I'm going to send Arbe. Arbe, it's Dam, Tzfadeya, Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shechin, Barad, Arbe. Arbe is les sauterelles. You know, those crickets that fly. And tell Pharaoh that there will be billions of billions, they will cover the sky. They will have a hard life. So Moshe Rabbeinu went to Pharaoh and he told him what Hashem told him to, that if you don't send the Jews, Hashem is going to send the cricket, the arbe, and the Torah said, ויגרש אותם מאת פני פרעה. And they threw Moshe and Aaron from the face of Pharaoh. Who threw Moshe and Aaron? Who? Rashi, he don't give an answer. Because it's impossible to say that Paro threw them. If Paro threw them from his face, so the Torah should say, Vaigaresh otam Paro, and Paro threw them away. If they were the slaves who threw Moshe and Aaron out from the palace, so the Torah should say, Vaigarshu avdei Paro et Moshe. That the slaves of Paro, they threw Moshe from the palace. So who did it? Rashi said, I don't know. Rashi said, the Torah don't say who threw from the face of Paro, Moshe and Aaron. We don't know. I have a beautiful answer. I was thinking. After all what I told you now, that Hashem, he told Moshe, another free games. Arbe, Hoshech, Makat Vechorot. After those three, it's finished. But now it's the time that we have to throw from Gan Eden, the Satan, the one who represents Paro, because he fights you from where he is. And from where he is, he's stronger. Now we're going to go through him. So they throw the Satan, the one who represents Paro, from his place. So where he went? He went to the palace of Paro. And he was the one who threw Moshe from the palace. When he appeared, Moshe Rabbeinu saw. So Moshe Rabbeinu ran away from there. Because he didn't want to see his face, because we're not allowed to see the face of Harasha. Okay, my friend, now we understand how much this parasha is beautiful. And as you know, by the end, when all the firstborn died, Paro went to sleep. He know that, listen to me. It's impossible to go to sleep if I know all my firstborn will die. How can I go to sleep? Whatever Moshe Rabbeinu said, it happened. So if Moshe Rabbeinu said to Paro, tonight, all the firstborn are going to die, that's what's going to happen. So how you went to sleep? You know why I went to sleep? He made it clear, because when he saw the Jews that they killed all the sheep and they're going to burn them, he told them, I don't believe that you will live. Never you can live. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to bed now. So he wanted to make the Jewish people to have doubt. What, Paro, he went to bed? Yes, he went to bed. He's not afraid. No, he's not afraid. So he's strong. But Moshe Rabbeinu told him, don't worry, he will wake up, screaming. Another 4 hours. In 4 hours. Start counting now 4 hours. My friend, when all the firstborn started to die, there was not a house in Egypt that they did not have somebody who died. Now Hashem, he killed the third god of the Egyptian, the firstborn. So everywhere they were screaming, because they were dying one after one. There was parents that they have 5-6 wives. From the 5-6 wives, he has children, born. Can you imagine? All the firstborn died. And Paro was the firstborn. When he heard people screaming, And they told him what happened, and he was the firstborn as well. He was afraid that he would die. He wanted to make full of himself. That, hey, you Hashem, I don't care of you. I will go to bed, I will go to sleep. So who woke him up? The scream of the people. He was a real Rasha. Because the Satan was hidden in his palace. And Paro himself, he was the Satan. He was the Gilgul of Cain, who killed Hevel. And Hevel is the Gilgul of Moshe. So Cain and the Satan that they were Gilgul on Paro, both of them they wanted to kill Moshe. But Moshe, Hashem is with him. Moshe Rabbeinu was the Gilgul of Hevel. Now Hevel, he got his revenge. And from the Satan and from Cain. I would like to wish you bracha v'atzlacha, and Hashem bless you.